So I came here to the gym. I'm not really working out, as you can see, it's in the background. But I was like, you know what, let me just come and just be in the frequency, because everything these days is frequency, energy, vibration, you know what I mean? But my girl told me that it would be a nice idea for me to make a video about how to maintain frequency at your lowest moment. So here it is. So this is how myself, maintain frequency at the lowest moments, and how I also plan on maintaining frequency at the next lowest moment that I go through. I'm not expecting a low moment. Of course, you shouldn't expect them. Although low moments happen. You know what I mean? It's not like you're always going to be cloud nine every time you just because now you're spiritual, now you're serious with your life. So now no problems are going to get to you. No. Just because you're spiritual, serious with your life, or you're on a self-improvement journey or a self-discovery journey, that means that you're going to go through more problems than most people. But what that means is you have a higher tolerance to those problems. Why? Because you've been working on your mental health. You've been working on your dopamine levels. You've been working on your cortisol minimizing. You've been doing all that stuff that is very, very important for you to be able to handle the kind of pressure that life is giving you right now. So you might be wondering why I'm here in the gym. Sorry, in the bush. But it's beautiful. Listen. Look, bro, it's beautiful. Yeah, so this is how I make sure that my frequency doesn't get shaken up whenever I'm going through the most horrible moments. So about 3 months back, I was sick. I was going through, I think I was sick of like 3 different things all at once. And man, I was really down bad. Like throwing up like 5 times in a morning. One morning, I threw up like 5 times. Like I had an ulcer throughout my whole, almost my whole alimentary canal, like throughout my gullet and everything. I had an ulcer there. It was messed up, and I was really down bad, bro. Let's just say I was down bad. And this is during my most recent spiritual awakening. Like this is like during this time where now I've understood about, or not understood, I am understanding. You know what I mean? Because if you say I've understood, then you've closed the gates. But I'm understanding how energy, vibration, frequency, all those things work, and how they can actually help me in my life. And I was studying about that stuff that time, and I was practicing, like manifesting. I was visualizing, meditating, affirming, doing all the practices that they tell you to do. But I fell sick, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna look at this like a negative thing. I'm gonna look at this as God showing me how to be more healthy. That is what I do. So I want you to look at this. Every time you fall sick, right? This is just pertaining to health, right? Falling sick. I want you to look at every sickness or recovery as you being given an opportunity to become the most healthy version of yourself. You're aligning yourself to that version who is healthy. But then for you to be that version who is healthy, there's certain subconscious blocks that you have to overcome. Now, those subconscious blocks can manifest as sickness. They can manifest as disease or injury or like something tough that is happening in your life. So you need to recognize them like that. Like this is just a product of my old frequency, like my old, my subconscious of back then. And you can also look at it as this is divine intervention. This is now like you could say your ancestors or your spirit guides or God. You know what I mean? You could say God is giving you an opportunity, a learning lesson, an opportunity to go through this hurdle so that you can become that healthy version of yourself that you've been praying for, you've been affirming, you've been saying, I'm healthy. But then when you go through something sick, now you're saying, I'm sick. So the fastest way for you to recover that I've noticed, me myself, is to start saying, I'm healthy when you're sick. And treat yourself like you're healthy. This doesn't mean that you're going to start going and doing your full body workout that you do every time when you're healthy. No. This means, of course, you take that rest, but saying I'm healthy might sound like you might have a bit of imposter syndrome when you say you're healthy. What you'd rather say is, if you feel like uncomfortable with saying you're healthy, because it's really important whenever it comes down to spells and all this stuff, it's really important your intentions behind the words. It's not really about the words, it's about your intentions, what you understand subconsciously when you say those words. So if you understand I am healthy as you lying to yourself, then don't say you're healthy, don't say that. You can say I am healing. You see what I mean? This is actually something I was just learning, like in terms of business. Instead of saying, oh, I'm a millionaire, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm a billionaire. You could say I'm becoming a billionaire. Not becoming, but I am billionairing. Again, I'm living like a billionaire. You know what I mean? These are easy ways that you can speak the truth, but then at the same time, the truth is an affirmation that actually helps you reach your desired reality. So you could say, I am on the journey of a millionaire. I'm on the journey of a billionaire. This is what billionaires go through. Like, this is a day in a life. You get me? That's more believable because there you don't need too much proof, third dimensional proof. But then, when it comes down to your most tough situations in your life, you need to start speaking like you've already overcome it. And when you are in the frequency of somebody who has already overcome it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to overcome it. So it's very, very important. Actually, this is weird. I'm just standing in one place. I can't move around because look at this. You see that? Can I squat? That's actually crazy. Can I squat? My girl is going through some back injury. She's also very active in the gym. You see, people who are like us, we're very active people. So whenever we go through tough times or we go through injuries and stuff, it's usually self-imposed in the sense that we worked too hard. You know what I mean? Like we pushed too hard and we didn't do it correctly. You know what I mean? So she was lifting very heavy things yesterday and she woke up today and her back is messed up. So we just came to the gym. I think you can see her in the background. I don't know if she's there. Yeah, she is. You can see her right there. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, so we just came to the gym just to be around the frequency. You feel me? Just to maintain the consistency. You know what I mean? Without actually working out. But yeah, now in this time, we've been going over her affirmations. We've been talking about, for me, I'm like that kind of person. I'm that kind of boyfriend. You know what I mean? I'm that kind of man. I like to fill up the people around me with wise words and with encouragement. So I've been helping her with her visualizations, with her meditations, the whole morning, a bit of stretching, you know what I mean? All that stuff. I've been helping her say that she's healing, that this is a time of her healing. I've been helping her see that kind of mindset that this is not a tough time. This is a lesson. Or you could say, yeah, it's a tough time. So what? But it's a lesson. Telling her that this is not sickness, this is not injury, this is recovery. Because your body reacts to the injury after. You know what I mean? Like it reacts to the sickness after by producing those symptoms, the symptoms that you would call your sickness. So you need to start looking at that. Like look at everything that happens in your life as a symptom. Look at everything that happens in your reality as a symptom of a sickness that happened before. And that sickness usually happens fourth dimension, bro. Usually happens up here first, then later on it ends up manifesting into real life. So when you start to see every negative situation as a setup, as a lesson for your growth, for your next, like burst of abundance, your next, you know what I mean? Trust me, that's going to enable you first of all to transmute and use that energy for fuel. And then that's going to also help you go through that moment faster, which is very, very important. You don't want to be wallowing in your problems. You don't want to be crying and being depressed for a long time just because you're going through something. No, you want to get it done with quickly. You know, like usually when you're sick, you know what I mean? When you're sick, you're just like, I want to heal quickly. If you want to heal quickly, like manifest it away. Manifest it how? By detaching. How do you detach? Through your affirmations, through your meditations, visualizations, but just specifically when it comes to affirmations, you say that you are already healthy. That is you detaching from sickness. Sickness, when you say sickness, you're pertaining to a fourth dimensional entity. You're pertaining to something in the mind, in the subconscious mind. So speak, change the way that you speak. And then when you change the way that you speak, apparently the way that you speak affects your physiology. Like apparently the words that come out of your mouth, the vibrations, and I'm talking about like out loud, I'm not talking about in your head. The words that come out of your mouth, the vibrations, literally get vibrated into your fascia and then they go through your whole bone structure, something like that. And they literally like realign you. You know, you've seen the whole tests, those tests of like how different objects are placed on like pans or something, like sand on a pan, and then frequencies are played on the pan and then it forms nice patterns. And if it's like a bad frequency, it forms disruptive patterns, like a snowflake. You've seen that before. The snowflake crystals, the crystallization of a snowflake, they form beautiful patterns, apparently, when it's like good water, something like that. But you get the point. Your words affect your reality and they affect your body. So your body is always listening to everything you say. This is why it's very important. Let me give you a hack, yeah? When it comes to maintaining of your frequency, maintaining this new frequency that you've got into, the one that you're using to live into in your desired reality, you need to start taking spiritual baths. If you're not taking spiritual baths, and spiritual baths are good and they've helped me because of a number of things. But first of all, when I had spiritual baths, I first thought it was like nonsense. First, like, honestly, let me be honest with you, I'm a skeptic at heart. I'm a skeptic. The first thing I do whenever I hear some nonsense is call it nonsense. You know what I mean? So it's hard, like, I have that side of me that's a bit arrogant. So it's hard for me to be convinced. So I tried it. I just tried it. I was like, you know what? Now that I'm quote unquote spiritual, which you shouldn't be calling yourself really, because that's now a new title. And really, if you think about spirituality, it doesn't involve so much to do with titles, but you get the point. Now that I'm spiritual, I might as well try spiritual baths, cleansing, you know what I mean? Water cleansing. So I got my salt, pour in the water, spin it around as I'm doing incantations, I'm casting spells, I'm saying healing, or I'm talking about cleansing, and I'm just like mixing my water, like my showering water and everything. I'm putting like in a bucket, you get me? So I can actually mix the salt in the water. So I started like that, and I set the mood and the atmosphere, like incense, good like frequencies on the speaker, and I take my shower, and guess what? The next day, results are clear. Results speak for themselves. Most times we doubt things because we don't see results. But until you try it and you see the results, that's when you understand. So I just want to leave it there. Like, when it comes down to maintaining your frequency, try that. Try a spiritual bath. Like, whenever you feel like there's something that's trying to mess up your frequency in your aura, maybe you're feeling sick or you're feeling off, you know what I mean? Like the vibe inside. What you need to do is try a cleanse. And a spiritual bath is just one type of cleanse, just one example of a cleanse. But there's so many other cleanses that you can try. So when you are that kind of person who cares about their frequency, you're going to do everything to maintain your frequency. Also, another hack, before I can end it off. Another hack is being around people who are high frequency and being away from people who are low frequency. This is going to enable you. There's somebody speaking to me behind. This is going to enable you to keep your frequency at the right level that you're trying to keep it at. You don't want to be around people who are like energy vampires. You know what I mean? People who just come from nowhere, just appear in your video, greet you, be in the background. I'm just playing. But you don't want to be like around such people, because those people throw off your frequency, and then, you end up spiraling down the wrong path. So it's very important that no matter what you're going through, you hold your frequency, you maintain. And by your frequency, I'm pertaining to your thoughts, your emotions. Don't let them sway. Don't let this outside fake reality, this third dimensional reality, sway who you are inside. It's very important, man. So I just wanted to leave it there, man. Like, honestly, by the time I come here to the freaking bush, that's how you know this is a serious topic. That's how you know it's a serious topic. So I've been able to use this information every time I fall sick. Too easy. These days, doesn't matter. And you might be going through the most horrible stuff. Like, you might be so depressed, like everything's just going wrong. But maintain your frequency. See how fast you heal, and see how happy you'll be with your life. Cheers, man.